Peace, Love, Liberty Radio version 4.1. Initializing upgrades. Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Ashes to ashes, we're falling down. Slaves to the men that stole the crown. There's a warning sign, like a blazing sun. You don't want to see because you're having fun. But those who control all the information celebrate and lie to the people to keep them watching.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry. And, you know, today is one of those sort of strange days. I'm kind of giving myself a day off, but not really, as you can tell by the fact that I'm doing this show. So, how is this a day off for Darryl? Well, it's Labor Day, which means that, you know, a lot of businesses are closed, which means a lot of radio stations are closed, which means that, well, if I were to make any phone calls, I would only be getting voicemails for program directors. Might not even get that. You know, it could be that, you know, get some kind of message. Our offices are currently closed because of holidays, blah, blah, blah. So it's absolutely pointless to have tried to, you know, do any work for my day job type thing. So last night around 11:30 midnight, I recorded today's news, uploaded that last night, turned off my alarm clock for the first time in a while. Yes, I technically didn't have my alarm clock turned on during the New Hampshire Hemp Fest, but I was still getting up about 8:30 every morning. Was being woken up by someone else because I didn't want to have all 9 of my alarms go off to wake everybody up in the room. But I actually allowed myself to sleep in this morning, and I got up about 9:30, 9:45, somewhere around there, and then, you know, checked my emails and Facebook a little bit before I actually got out of bed. And, well, this morning I watched a movie that I have not seen in probably about 25 years. And I know, yes, I rewatched a really old 80s movie, Vision Quest, if you've never seen it. Yeah, I know it's a sports-themed movie, but it's also, you know, kind of one of those cheesy 80s love story sort of things mixed in, and yeah, it's a very 80s movie if you watch it, but I highly recommend it if you've never seen it. And there's a quote from the movie that I actually wound up, because I liked it so much, I posted it on my Facebook page, and the quote is, "But all I've ever settled for is that we're born to live and then to die, and we got to do it alone, each in his own way. And I guess that's why we got to love those people who deserve it like there's no tomorrow, because when you get right down to it, there isn't." And, you know, that's kind of a metaphysical sort of thing of there is no tomorrow, right? There's only now. And yes, I realize at some point now becomes yesterday's tomorrow, or today's tomorrow, and today is yesterday's tomorrow, and yesterday is today's something, and, or, well, what is it? Tomorrow, today becomes yesterday. And, like, there's all these weird sorts of things to where you can look at it and it kind of boggles the mind, but there's really only now, right? There is no future. There's the past. You know, like, you can look and be like, yes, this happened previously, but there is only now. Everything that is happening is really just your remembrance of things that have already happened. Even though they're happening now, by the time your brain processes what is happening, it has already been in the past. kind of strange, right? Yes, it is. But the core point of this quote is that you have to love people, and specifically those who deserve it. And now there could be, an entire discussion over who deserves it, and I say that every human being deserves to be loved. Some people will actually, do things to basically, show you that they really mean it. Other people will do things that are like, you know what? I cannot love you for that action. But still, as a human being, on some level, there's that, just loving someone as a person, respecting their humanity, if you will. But I really want to delve into another aspect of love. And it's something that I've talked about a good bit before, because it's something that I actually wind up dealing with, and that is sort of the being afraid to love. Not that I'm afraid of, ooh, girls, gross, yucky. It's not that at all, but it's more the thing of once you let someone get into that, sort of secret special place in your heart, you become vulnerable, and that can wind up, not turning out so great, right? Well, there's an article from a website that I go to quite frequently, lifehack.org, titled 7 Reasons People Are Afraid of Love. And they actually say most people. I don't know if it's most, but it's definitely, a sizable percentage. They say sometimes we just can't really commit to a partner, though he or she could be the one. Being afraid of love can keep us from leading a happy and loving life. Here are 7 reasons why they say most people are actually afraid of love. Number 1, unrealistic expectations. And yes, I think that, a lot of people, and it might be most, have unrealistic expectations. They say here, in this modern era, you can come across many stories, articles, or movies about love. They create a frame of reference about how you want your partner to be and lead you to comparing this ideal to your actual partner. There's more that we'll get into here in moments on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Unrealistic expectations. That's the number 1 reason here given by lifehack.org for why they say most people are actually afraid of love. I'm not so sure it's most, but it's definitely a lot. They say that modern media stories, can be magazine articles, can be movies, can be, whatever, actually winds up giving people unrealistic expectations about what their partner or what their relationship should be. And then people wind up comparing their situation or their partner to what they see or hear from these movies, stories, etc. Finding that the qualities you were expecting are missing with your partner makes you feel bad about them. Love is supposed to mean finding a person who really matches your soul, but after this effective social homage in your mind, because you compare your love, you expect something that matches those social norms instead of your soul. So basically, people wind up expecting the romantic comedy to come true, or they expect the porn that they watch to be how sex should actually be, or they expect fill in the blank. They have unrealistic expectations. Oh, well, the magazines say that it's supposed to be like this, so therefore if it's not like that, then it's wrong, and, well, then I'm not doing something right, or I'm dating the wrong woman, or the wrong guy, or this or that, or what have you. Society says, but the thing is, those are all fairy tales. It's the same sort of thing of people look back fondly of the 1950s and 1960s of, no, it was all white picket fences and Sheriff Andy Taylor and, Deputy Barney Fife and this and that, and you go to the ice cream shop, but the reality is the 1950s and the 1960s were not that wonderful. There was a lot of social unrest in the 1950s and 60s. There was a lot of absolutely horrible things that happened in the 50s and 60s, but some people romanticize that era, similar to how people now romanticize all of these other things, and they, again, have unrealistic expectations. People misremember how things were. I'm sure that, when I'm old and gray, I'll look back fondly on the 1980s and 1990s, even though there was a lot of social unrest happening around the world. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1990 or 91. I forget when exactly that was. The first Gulf War started in 1991. The whole no new taxes and then new taxes, that happened in like 90, 91. And, the Waco was in the early 90s. Ruby Ridge was in the early 90s. There was a lot of, absolute horrible things that happened. But again, in, 40, 50 years, people will look back fondly on, things were so great in the 1990s before the national debt hit $4 trillion and, this thing and that thing and this other thing happened. And, back before terrorism ever existed in 2001, even though terrorism existed well before 2001. American foreign policy existed well before the year 2001, but people, have short memories, and they think that, everything began, American foreign policy began on September 11th, 2001, when 9/11 happened. Number 2 on the list of reasons people fear love. People are afraid of losing oneself for their partner. When a person finds someone they love, they find it morally correct to accept their partner's taste and struggles without allowing their own thoughts to contradict them. By doing that, the original image they had for themselves gets blurry. The original person and the person which their loved one wants them to be are constantly fighting to take over. And this is one of those things. What's the saying that a man marries a woman hoping that she never changes, but she will. A woman marries a man hoping that he will change, but he won't. And, it's sort of that scary sort of thing of where people fall in love with the idea of who their partner could be or who they want their partner to be. They're not necessarily falling in love with their partner. And I would say that that's an understandable reason of, well, I like who I am. I like who this person is, but maybe she wants me to change. Maybe she will want me to not watch college football anymore. Maybe she will get upset if I watch pro wrestling on Mondays or Tuesdays, or I watch the pay-per-view once a month on a Sunday, and instead she will want me to fill in the blank. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking an actual interest in something that, your partner enjoys. And, learning new experiences, being open to new experiences, nothing wrong with that at all. But when you deny things that you enjoy in favor of trying to please someone else, that becomes problematic, and I can understand why people would fear that. Number 3, and this is something that I struggle with a lot, and I've learned a new word. Cocoraphobia. Or actually, no, I'm missing a syllable in here. Cocoraphobia, as it is said, means fear of rejection. When love flows through body, emotions are produced. Those emotions play the role of lava, as they can either create a land for your livelihood or they can destroy it. So there's this fear of rejection at any stage of your relationship. And, there's, this sort of thing that goes around the fear of rejection. Is the person rejecting you as a person? Are they rejecting the idea of being with you? Are they rejecting the idea of being in any kind of relationship? Are they rejecting the idea of going to a restaurant? Are they rejecting the idea of whatever it is that you are proposing? Or are they rejecting you as a human being? Of you are not worthy of anybody ever loving you because something is fundamentally flawed with you.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Hi, this is Roger Paxton from the Lava Flow Podcast, the Free Coast Freecast, and Pax Libertas Productions, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Going through the list of 7 reasons, according to Lifehack, that most people are afraid of love. And again, I don't know if it's most. I think that it's a lot. Maybe my perception of the world is flawed, and I just think that more people have it together than they actually do. But we'll get back into this. But I've got a question for you. So listen closely. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? If so, then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal. Spend a Bit is the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a Bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin-accepting merchant, like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. So let me recap here the first 3 reasons why, again, the claim is most people are afraid of love. Unrealistic expectations, fear of losing oneself for their partner, fear of rejection. Number 4 on the list, inferior past experiences. It is known that what we are today, our personality, our behavior, etc., is what our past events have made us. Whenever there's a situation when you're judging something, you will probably rather decide for the side which you can relate to because of experiences in your past. Whenever something affects you deeply, your mind creates a picture of it, which will make it harder for you to decide in the future because the picture it has created could clash with your new situation. So if you've only ever had bad relationships, then it's going to cloud your ability to see that, hey, maybe some relationships are good. And if you have, only experienced bad relationships and rejection, then that's even going to further cloud your vision of what could be. And both of those fit in with number 5 on the list. People are afraid that it might not work out. As it is said, love is magic, and magic is just an illusion. The magic of love spreads its fragrance as soon as you go along with it, but even if the fragrance might be the one of a rose, every rose has thorns. And what was the song back in the aforementioned 1980s? It's kind of weird how these sort of thoughts are serendipitous to where, I was mentioning earlier the 1980s because I watched the movie Vision Quest. And again, if you've never seen it, highly recommend it. It's got Matthew Modine, the guy that played Private Joker in Full Metal Jacket. Madonna makes an appearance. Apparently, Vision Quest was the first movie that she appeared in, so it was just before she became like a big star. The woman, I can't think of her name, that played Princess Vespa in Spaceballs, she's a minor character in the film. The weird old guy from Home Alone is in the film. And, there's, some characters that you'll recognize. You'll be like, I recognize that guy. But again, very good movie, very 1980s. And again, there was the song, I think Bon Jovi that sang the song, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. So yes, even though roses do smell good, they put off a good fragrance. Be careful because you might, prick your finger. So the possibility, they say, of falling, or rather failing at your love is the same as getting ahead while flipping a coin. The fear of failure is a quite natural phenomenon which deprecates the relationships which do not come naturally. Number 6 on the list here of 7 reasons that they say most people are afraid of love. New relationships affect your old ones. Your family relationships could get ruptured as soon as your partner comes out of the cocoon and steps into your everyday life. The priorities change as time passes, and there comes a time when telling a lie for your loved one won't bother you. The friends who used to be at the top of your priority list will now occupy second place because your first priority is now your loved one. But the fight for first place can be really close, and it is the rule of love that you need to pay for every decision you make, as it might affect you tomorrow. But as I said, there really is no tomorrow. There's only the present. And what we think of as the present is actually the past. Because as soon as you hear these words and you process these words and you start to think about the words that I am saying, they've already been said. The neurons in your brain are processing things that only ever happened in the past. You can never really know what is actually happening right now. You can only know what happened a second ago. Number 7 on the list, and yes, that was very deep, very metaphysical, if you will, philosophical. And yes, I pronounced that incorrect on purpose because I like saying philosophical instead of philosophical because it just sounds weird and it makes people think. We'll finish this list here in moments on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Why, oh why are people afraid of love? Well, I'm going through the list here of 7 reasons that most people are afraid of love. And now, I don't know if they mean most people as in like, the majority of all humans, or if they're just talking about the people that are afraid of love. Here's the reason that the vast majority of them are afraid. In either case, a lot of people afraid of love, and for very, sometimes very different reasons, sometimes similar reasons, but the nuance is slightly different. So let me recap here. Number 1, unrealistic expectations. Number 2, fear of losing oneself for a partner. Number 3, fear of rejection. Number 4, inferior past experiences. Tied in with 3 and 4 is number 5, even though, yes, 3 plus 4 equals 7, not 5. But people are afraid that it might not work out, based partly on those inferior past experiences and that fear of rejection. Number 6 is that new relationships affect older ones, meaning that someone else becomes your top priority. Your friends then move to second place. Others that were in second place now become third. People that were in third place, well, they're no longer in that medal category. And yes, that's a sports reference because, see, the first place person gets a gold medal. Second place gets a silver medal. Third place gets a bronze medal. Fourth place, you don't get anything, not even a participation award in the Olympics and, actual competitive sports. And I've heard that, a lot of things are like, oh, everybody gets a participation award, but I've never been involved in anything where that happened. So I'm going to call BS on that. But the final thing on the list of reasons that people are afraid to love is that love does not arrive alone. When love comes into your life, it's not alone. It comes with time-consuming responsibilities and the need for space for the loved one. Love can become a serious distraction for someone who has a targeted goal, and love and time are directly proportional and can go as long as you want. Now, the distraction we talked about a little bit last week on why it is harder, why it is more difficult for more intelligent people to find love, because love can be that distraction. There's a little bit more that's written here. I will post this link into the show notes so that you can read the full article at your leisure if you so choose. And don't forget, every Wednesday I answer your questions. Send those over ama@fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.